Action Film Autopsy.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I see something new every time I watch that intro. I'm going to double check it next time. It looks like in the hard-boiled clip that Tony Leung shoots the guy he was shooting in the place where the squib went off, and the squib was going off in his crotch. And so he shot him in the crotch, and I went, wow, that was he aiming low to purposely not hurt anybody? But then I saw the squib go off, and I went, oh, I love John Woo. I just love John Woo. So anyway, hey, look who's here, everybody. Look who's here.
Yeah.
Look, wait a minute, give me a hand. Say, look who's here. Yeah.
They have returned. Actually, first time to Action Film Autopsy.
Yeah,
the
my
fanatical
debut.
one.
Yeah.
That's right. The dragon himself. Welcome to the show, brother, and welcome back, the commentary beast, Frank Jang.
Yay.
And Frank, oh, there you I thought I saw something awesome.
Games of Clone set, baby. Volume 1.
Yeah. And it's on shelves everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
What?
Fat. If you're I am now wildly outnumbered. Look, we've got the two of them and their pictures next to them. So just in case you don't know, so come on, Fat, put pictures of me next to me.
Oh.
Come on, I want to be at least as egomaniacal as Frank. Come on.
What's going on, everyone? Thanks, everybody.
Everyone set this out now. Please get it now.
Welcome back to another episode of Action Film Autopsy, baby.
Frank, do you have a piece of that? Is that why you're selling it so hard?
No. Fanatical had received this.
I know received it, but you're saying buy it now, but do you get a cut of it?
I don't get a cut of it, no.
Okay, then yeah, you can sell it. Go ahead, sell it.
Get it now.
Hold on. If we're gonna do that, let's do this. Get it now! Get it now!
I got that. I got that book. Yeah.
Oh, you do? You got it already?
Well, I bought it from Amazon. I pre-ordered a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh, that was very sweet of you.
Yeah.
Well, what's going on, everyone? We got legends watching right now. Brian Sanchez, what is cracking? Michael Gonzalez. We have Damo in the house. Good to see Blood Nail. Good to see everyone watching. That's right. We are back again. Another Action Film Autopsy with the one and only, that's right, award-winning author Rick Myers is here.
Or award-whining.
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 This is what happens when Samurai Guy creates a description for the video. I don't have my glasses on. But we are here with a plethora of awesome stuff to talk about. We only have Frank and Dragon for a little while. So, Rick, how do you want to do this? Do you want to have them talk about their stuff first?
I serve at the pleasure of my friends, and I know Frank has to leave early because you're going to do another commentary, right?
Late night commentary, yeah.
Yeah, so
very late night.
Morning commentary in your case.
11:05 here. Yeah, it's 11:05 here in Edinburgh. So yeah.
Edinburgh. Oh, what a wonderful accent. Anyway. So yeah, so we'll let you guys. We'll get you guys. Tell us what you saw and tell us what you thought of it.
Okay. All right. So why don't you go first?
Well, I guess the big one walled in.
Okay.
Have you guys seen
the Warriors walled in? Yeah.
Twilight.
Sorry.
Oh, the Warriors.
Yes. Twilight of the Warriors walled in. Or AKA
Kowloon Sing Jai.
Yeah, Kowloon City Under Siege.
Yeah, I guess Kowloon City Under Siege. Yeah.
And,
I mean, that's a literal translation. Yeah.
And I'm assuming you guys haven't had a chance to see it yet.
No, I'm suffering. Rick, I don't know about Rick, but I'm suffering. You guys have seen it already.
Never assume.
That's
right. Because guess who I was talking to yesterday, and guess what? A bunch of screeners I got from whom I was talking to yesterday. Because we're planning something. We can announce. You see, I'm wearing this shirt for two reasons. One, we are going to talk about Doctor Who, but also this is from the Doctor Who shirt from San Diego 2023. And San Diego Comic-Con has said now that we can tell people when we have a panel, we just can't tell them when and what day.
Okay.
We have a panel.
So we can now announce that
we can now say that yes, we are doing the 27th annual Kung Fu Extravaganza, San Diego Comic-Con Kung Fu Extravaganza. So that's why I'm wearing this shirt. There you go.
Oh yeah.
And we've already reached out to people. We already have a bunch of guests. I talked to Cynthia. Wellgo hopes to talk to Cynthia as well, Cynthia Rothrock, and all sorts of other people. So enough of that. Let's get back. You guys have a limited amount of time.
Yeah,
So tell us.
kind of kick things off with Twilight of the Warriors.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So to answer Pat's question, yeah, I saw it.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
Good.
Go ahead, guys. But you guys saw it first, so tell us what you thought
Well,
first.
Fanatical saw it first, so he go first.
I
Go,
loved
man.
it. I absolutely loved it. I think kind of maybe the best kind of Hong Kong action movie I've seen in the last 2 decades.
Now, I've heard that from other people too, but now I ask the big question. They're making me a big shirt. They're making me a Doctor Who jacket, which says Professor Y. And the reason why is that I always say, okay, that's your opinion. Now tell me why it's one of the best you've seen in the last 2 decades.
Because it was a return to the stuff that we all love. It was a not overly complex story, wonderfully staged, wonderfully acted, a great mix of old faces that we haven't seen in far too long, or some faces we've seen recently, but not as good as this. Louis Koo on screen there, and he's a perfect example. Twilight of the Warriors so much more resonated with me than Warriors of the Future, which, okay. But this was a little bit more in his wheelhouse, doing great stuff, kind of just being used really well. Kenji Tanigaki knocked it out of the stratosphere. Choreography-wise, it's easily the best thing I've seen him do in Hong Kong, but also riffed on a lot of the stuff that he's done in his Japanese work. So you saw little beats of Rurouni Kenshin in the choreography here, little bits of what he did with Donnie in Sakura. It's kind of like his grab bag of greatest hits, all used and liberally sprinkled throughout everybody. And Philippine, phenomenal as the villain.
Yeah,
just amazingly good fun.
Yeah,
go ahead, Frank.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I agree. I think this was the best Hong Kong action film I've seen since Ip Man 2. Yeah.
Now, how many times have you seen it?
Well, I've seen it once.
Twice.
You've seen it twice.
Yeah.
On your third showing and on your second showing, Frank. I love this movie because you made a point that was very important, which is you had seen other things Lewis has done, but they weren't as good as this one.
Yeah.
And that's because he wasn't working with a team. Movies are a team.
100%.
And you look at Kenji Tanigaki's work on that last G.I. Joe movie was just dreadful because he had a producer who cut his work to shit.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen here. And Louis Koo, I've always loved him because he's like Dick Tracy. In all his other movies, he just goes blank. He can't help but act. But here, because he was in such a comfortable and supportive environment, he does some of the best action acting I've seen since Anthony Wong in Ip Man Final Fight.
Wow.
Those were two great, because Louis Koo and Wong are not kung fu experts. They're not, they don't take the class, but they can act the shit out of kung fu. You just watch the reaction shots of Louis Koo in this movie, and every time he was on, and also because of his acting ability, he does the kung fu through his very character, and also Sammo is unleashed too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is definitely Sammo's best performance since Ip Man 2. I mean, that fight with Louis Koo, I had tears in my eyes, and it was so great. And he's like, he's almost like, wow, look at Sammo. It's almost like he's like 20 years younger now, doing that fight.
Which, by the way, would make him 53. So, because he's at least 73 in this thing. So
But
again,
we shouldn't give people the impression that this is wall-to-wall action, because it's not, right? And they took the time to make characters that you actually give a shit about, they invest in. So it's action with substance. It's action with heart and a bit of soul behind it.
And a great production design. I mean, they really recreated the wall city. It looked just like the real one. It's all set, but it's amazing. It looks like it looks like the one you saw in like Long Arm of the Law. It's that realistic. Yeah.
Wow.
You can tell the difference between a movie that's done with love and a movie that's done for streaming or money.
Yeah.
So and I was having this talk with Wellgo USA because they were telling me about a certain movie that did very well for them, and I said, well, it would have done even better for you had it been better. And I maintain, and even we'll be talking about that in the rest of the show, that when you have a great movie, then you have a better chance of making a lot of money than you would if you didn't. And this movie is just, I mean, from the very first shot, it's like, oh, these guys care. These guys really care.
Right.
And it made me care. And yeah, wall-to-wall action is no good without, what do I always say? Have style, but also have substance.
Mhm.
Have eye candy, but also have brain candy. And
Right.
then this thing is just like yum, 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 yum.
And I also find it interesting that this is probably the first Hong Kong movie that features spiritual boxing.
Yeah, in a long
Since
time.
since I guess what Lau
What?
Gao spiritual boxer in 1975. It's
No.
like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it has spiritual boxing. I mean, look, this was based on a comic book, so you do have something that are not entirely grounded in reality, especially when the final villain is concerned.
Mhm.
But,
Okay.
but it fits.
It
It fits. Yeah, it works. It works.
Okay.
It works in the style. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because the villain is a cartoon.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see how I want to see if he grows into the movie or whether I reject him by the time I see it for the 80th time. So
I would, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would say you'll embrace him. I think it's one of these performances. It's almost the first time I've seen someone since Yuen-Wah owning a villain role in that sort of thing. I think 20 years time, it's going to be up there with Yuen-Wah's Dragons Forever,
Right. Or Eastern Condor.
Yeah.
I think I agree. I think I will too. At least I hope I will.
And I also want to give special attention to the three brothers. Well, the three guys in the city. The AV guy, the 12th brother. I guess it's called something silly. The 12 master or something. And then the other guy,
Yeah.
Those were great. I mean, like they're all young, new, up and coming actors. Actually, the guy who played AV, the guy with the mask on his face all the time, is actually played by German Chung. German Chung is actually a long-time stuntman. So, and he's been in the business for almost 30 years. So now he finally got the recognition he deserved with this role.
Yeah, by the way, I want to say something to Bloodnail. Bloodnail put up a little thing across the screen while you were talking, and I want to say something to him. Yes, it's wonderful if this movie introduces all these great guys, but it's also old guys, but it's also extremely important that they create new guys.
Exactly.
Right.
And they introduce new guys because they have to carry on. Sammo is in his 70s. He needs, so that's him again.
Yeah. But one thing that I do want to point out is, even though everybody here fights like superb, okay, almost all of them are not martial artists, and that's again is thanks to Kenji that make them look like these guys are really fighting. Yeah, I mean, really kudos to him, because again, these are not martial arts trained actors. They just acting, but the way Kenji choreographed them with editing, whatever, it looks like they are fighting. It's like you wouldn't not believe that they don't know how to fight.
Well, that's the great thing about Kung Fu and having a great guy like Kenji and other people. And what's nice about the Chinese and the people who are into the Hong Kong, well, we can't say the Chinese cinema at this point, is that they grow up with Kung Fu the way we grow up with baseball. So everybody knows enough of it that they're able to communicate it. But the important thing is not that you have taken 16 years of Kung Fu and you know a certain style, because that's always been the problem. Jackie Chan always talks about this, that whenever he has a trained martial artist, he can't work with him. Look at Michelle Yeoh, who's never done it before. The whole idea is that you're able to act the action as well as the drama. And that's what this thing did in abundance. And it works as an entire film, not just as an action movie.
And every single character is a part of his fabric. The little girl, the woman who took care of her after certain event, and all the minor characters.
Yeah, Richie Ren.
And and the other thing that I love is that everybody fights in character.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They don't start fighting like each other, and they also learn. They also improve. Nice. So yeah, I look. As soon as we're done, I'm going to watch it again.
I'm going to see it again in theaters. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Well, Frank, when we got permission to show the little teaser behind the scenes 2 years ago, at Kung Fu Extravaganza, I was already like buzzing. Like I was already like, oh man, just because of all the talent involved. And it's I had a prediction. Let me know, Frank and Dragon and Rick, what you guys think of my prediction. My prediction is this is going to be the best martial arts film of the year.
I would say,
of course,
a contender for best film of the year. Best martial arts.
Oh, there you go.
It's already reached the number 2 spot of the highest box office take in Hong Kong. Yeah. It's number 2 now.
Yeah. I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong.
Let me rephrase that. The best kung fu film of the year. How's that?
Nope. I hope you're wrong.
Oh,
I don't want this to be alone. We're on the cusp of June. We have 6 more months.
Yeah. But
we also
know what's coming.
Yeah.
I also know there are other stuff coming.
Oh,
I have to admit that it's after what I've seen here, it's unlikely. But I don't want to call it now because I want more great ones.
Copy that.
And I know, know we have Eye for an Eye 2 is coming out.
Oh shit! I forgot about
that. That's been out, wasn't it?
The more the merrier.
Yeah, and there's some others.
Yeah, but there's definitely on top of. It's going to be on on the top, if not the very top.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
absolutely. It's certainly the best. It's certainly the best of the last couple of years. I mean, what was the last one that was as good as this one?
It's been long.
I can't think of one.
I can only think of Ip Man 2. Yeah. In terms of martial art film.
Oh, I don't include that. I'm also very happy that it looks like Welco USA has the new what's his name? The guy who made the Final Master. Why am I blanking on his name?
Blind War?
Huh?
Blind War?
Is the film Blind War?
Blind War has already come out, but he's not the director. The guy who directed the Final Master.
I know. The name eludes me for the moment.
Yeah, eludes me too, and I love him. But we have his new film too, which is also, I was told by them, very good. But anyway, let's not get dwell on that. Let's talk about the films we have seen for this episode. Do you want to move on from there and talk about what you saw next?
Should we go to Furiosa?
Yeah, let's do Furiosa.
Because I think everybody's seen Furiosa, haven't we?
Not everybody. Not according to the American cinema owners.
True. Everyone of the four of us.
Of us.
Of us. Yeah. Well prefaced. Yeah. Not enough people have been seeing this movie. So.
Yeah. No. This.
Good for you, Shin. Good for you. I'm glad you saw the movie. Shin was talking that he had seen. Watched the anniversary. But go ahead. Let's talk about Furiosa.
Yeah,
let's talk about Mad Max Fury Road DLC, the movie.
Yeah. Basically.
Talk about that.
The only flaw this movie has is that it came out after. If it had come out before, if it wasn't a prequel and was just a setup for Fury Road, we'd be talking about a huge box office.
Yeah.
But and it reminds me of Stephen Chow. Later on in Stephen Chow's career, the only competition he had was his earlier films. So, and same with La Calyong. So I feel bad for the abuse it's taking, but it's still. I love George Miller, and he's also in his 70s. I think he's the same age as Sammo.
He's 79.
Yeah, well, much older then.
Right.
And so I loved his work, and I was able to appreciate this without, like some of my friends would say, I was just saying it's not as good as Fury Road. It's not as good as Fury Road. And I'm going, yeah, but you also have Fury Road, and it's made by the same guy. Cut him some slack.
Yeah. And it's the first time he's ever had the opportunity to dive and actually world build a bit more. All the other films have kind of been sort of separate, kind of standalone entities. This is the first time, because of how incredible Fury Road was, but kind of also how simple it was. There was this amazing opportunity to really expand on the lore of it.
Yeah,
I loved it. I was all in for the story stuff that he did.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, the desert scenes are even better than Dune 2, if I may say so. It's more
Please do.
I just felt directed.
Yeah. And again, like Fanatical said, the world building is amazing, the art direction, I mean, the sound is amazing, those roaring engines and stuff. And Chris Hemsworth was anyway. I think he stole the show. I mean, as much as Anna Taylor-Joy was so good in this film, Chris Hemsworth really kind of stole the show for me.
I agree. I agree, because even though she was good, she's not Charlize Theron.
Right. No.
Yeah.
I find it really hard to pinpoint when it shifted from the kid actor to her. Because she was wearing a mask so much, I kind of didn't really notice the transition. Just at some point, I was pretty sure it was her.
Yeah.
There's maybe 2 actresses playing her.
Yeah, well, no, suppose they use AI to change the young girl's face to make her look more like Anna Taylor-Joy. But yeah, I mean, obviously, the only reason this is not it's the only reason. Let's put it this way: Fury Road was so great. It would be so difficult to top that. And so no matter how we view this film, it's not going to be as great as Fury Road. It's only because Fury Road is way up there in terms of greatness. I mean, but this is a great movie.
But for me, I see all the Doctor Who's, I see all the James Bonds, I see all the Sherlock Holmeses, so I see all the Mad Maxes, and and it's not as good. But the problem here is, well, not the problem is that the first weekend film goers told people that they didn't have to go see it, and that's a shame. And they should have been smarter and nicer than that, because it's like most films are down here. Fury Road was way up here, and Furiosa was just a little bit down. It wasn't, so it's like, definitely go see it. It's still one of the best.
Yeah, that opening act with her mother giving a chase.
That chase
was
with the
the
two
highlight
mothers.
for me. That was phenomenally good.
Well, we just had somebody come up and say they haven't seen it yet, so we have to tell them, go see it.
See it. What are you waiting for? Go see it at the largest screen possible.
And the other tragedy is that if you don't go see it, there won't be another one.
True.
Because George Miller wants to make another one, and if it doesn't make enough money, he won't be able to.
And he already had the script done, The Wasteland.
Yeah.
The script is ready to go.
Frank, you got FJ here. What's up, FJ? FJ, what's up, brother?
Oh, I'll get you a comp. God damn it.
FJ in the house. I was entertained by the film. I thought it was very entertaining. That's it.
I also like
I will go into my spoiler review.
Was that one of these compliments? Yeah. Was that one of those compliments?
I'm gonna go into my spoiler review.
No, I also love how
sometime tomorrow.
It also had quite a lot of religious themes that I really kind of like, especially the fact that she right at the opening she picked that fruit.
Yeah, I know, FJ. I know.
Yeah, I recommend it, and I found it to be entertaining.
Pat, shut up. You're not convincing, buddy. Work on that Louis Koo acting, man.
The film actually kind of reminded me of a martial arts novel, like the way the story, because it's very martial art. It's similar to like the Kulong martial art novel, where the characters don't speak a lot, but when they speak, every word is important, especially in the major characters. So, But those action sequences. Yeah, they're great. I mean, fantastic.
Let's put it this way. It's worth seeing.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, it is worth seeing.
I know see
it.
Again, on as big as screen, but not 40X.
No, God, no. I made the mistake of seeing, that was my first 40X experience, first and last.
Oh, no.
That's not for me. I'm too old. It was like...
Which one is it?
40X is like...
He went to see it in 40X.
40X.
So he could show you the bruises. He can show you all the bruises.
Really
good. I'll stay away from that.
Being on a turbulent plane with a kid kicking the back of your seat.
Yeah.
See it in IMAX or Dolby Cinema if you can. Really.
All right. So what's next on the hit parade, gentlemen? What else did you see? Did you see anything else?
You go.
Okay. Well, I saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Go ahead.
I don't think it's as good as the previous three films, and I like the new ideas. I like how they kind of move forward. They left Caesar behind, and they move forward 100 years. But I'm not sure where they can go from here, especially with that twist of the ending. There are certain callbacks to the previous film that I really like. I like that whole part where, I like that whole part where Noah, the main ape character, finds out that what he was told by his elders is not really what happened. What really happened? Because there were scenes in the film where he was finding out stuff that, this is not what my elders told me, and I like those scenes a lot, especially near the end when he read that book. We saw that book, but I think the effects are phenomenal. The special effects of making the CGs are phenomenal.
Of course.
It's a great sci-fi western. You really have a western feel, especially in the middle part. They kind of slow things down a bit, and then we just see Noah and the elder ape just kind of talk, the orangutan, and they just talk and stuff. Those are really some of the best scenes. But I mean, in terms of where they go from here, I really don't know.
That's the thing, because my review of the movie is where they go from here. I really don't care. That's the thing. I enjoyed this, but again, it was like, even while I'm watching it, I was, watching it like this. Yeah, it's fine. They did a good job, but do I care? Nope. I'm over Planet of the Apes. I understand why All the studios are trying to get people into the theater, so they're going to use the brand names. And they did. And again, it's a reputable job. But my other issue is, there we go, Damo.
Nine film. Jeez.
Yeah.
My
It's
goodness.
a nice film.
And if they do, and if they can get an audience for it, more power to them. But at this point, it's kind of like, okay, I'm over it. I know what you're trying to do. But the other issue that I have with these, unlike Twilight of the Warriors Walled In, these movies are all animated movies to me. They're all video games to me. I'm watching a video game movie, no matter how much mental and physical weight they try to give it. It's still a computer drawn film. It's still an AI film. And as such, it doesn't touch me.
I kind of miss the prosthetics of it all. I kind of dig that. As bad as the Tim Burton
Yeah,
guys,
that was bad.
Tim Roth looks so amazingly good. In
Yeah.
makeup.
I want something you can touch, and I want something you can feel, and I want them to have weight.
Yeah.
And that happened to me with this King Kong Godzilla. It was kind of but then you compare it to Godzilla -1. He had weight. So again, that guy, that special effects guy should. But also, what's happening is that these movies, because they are predominantly visual effects, they can't do the kind of work they did in Godzilla -1 because they're too overworked, and there's too big a palette, and there are too many characters,
and too many people working. Too big a production department working it.
And also, I felt like the Ape King character in this film was underdeveloped. It's like I felt they took too long to finally get to the Ape King. Yeah, right. The Ape King and his castle, his quote-unquote castle. And then but by then we were already like 2/3 into the film, and he had that little speech when he was telling about evolution, all that stuff. I thought that was a great speech. It was like I felt his character is actually very interesting. It is too bad that they didn't spend more time developing that character, because yes, he may be the film's like kind of like a quote-unquote villain, but he has his own point of view. That if you think about it, it makes sense. It makes sense that his clan want to do this, whereas the Eagle clan, the Noah's clan, is
you can always tell when the producer team does not care. In other words, the writer cares, the actors care, the special effect guys care, but if the producers or the people or behind the scenes don't, the studio or the executives don't care, because their attitude is, we got an ape film. The ape audience will swallow anything. So again, you compare it to Twilight of the Warriors or anything that has heart and weight and all the rest of it, and it's little wonder that fewer and fewer people are going to the theaters.
Yeah, well, at least like Twilight is good enough that they're going to make a prequel and a sequel too. But it does look like Kingdom actually is doing quite well box office wise, and combined with.
We'll be talking about that later when we get to Golden Kamuy, which I'll be talking about Kingdom, and I'm about to, either whether you're here or not here, I'm going to compare them, because Netflix is doing all these live action adaptations of anime and manga. And Golden Kamuy is the latest one, but the one that works best for me is Kingdom. I love Kingdom. And again, that's proof again of my contention that the better the film is, the better it'll do. Yeah. So anyway, what's next?
You said it.
Is Fall Guy next? Is Fall Guy next? FJ, you're supposed to be on the show.
Yeah, lock in.
Come on, man.
This guy, like,
Call in.
Talk about Fall Guy.
Ghosted me, man.
Yeah.
No more comments put on screen. I'm tired of being ghosted. Like,
did you guys see Fall Guy?
FJ.
I have not seen Fall Guy. No, I bought tickets to it and I can't. And then
Frank Banby. But fantastic. Dragon, you saw it? You saw it?
No,
you didn't see it. All right.
I have seen Golden Kamuy if you want to skip to that.
Okay, we can go to
Well, what else have you guys seen?
For me, that's pretty much it.
Golden Kamuy and Ninja Kamui.
So let's do the Kamui brothers next. Yeah. I guess. Right. What do you want to start with? You want to start with the Adult Swim series, or do you want to start with the movie?
Let's start with Ninja, because Samurai's got the image up for it.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me what you thought.
All right, Dragon, you go first.
Iron Man ninjas, basically. Like by the time we got to the end, but pretty cool, right? Like a weird mashup of American producers, Japanese animators, South Korean director. What kind of worked for me? I knew is it Sun Hu Park who directed it, and I knew his first season of Jujutsu Kaisen, which was a pretty big phenomenon in the anime world, and so I didn't know what to expect in this. Initially started watching the dubbed version, hated it, switched to the sub version, really enjoyed it, and kind of enjoyed it more and more the more insane that it got. Like by the first episode was relatively straightforward, and it then jumped into Nutsville by episode 3, and I was all in for it.
Yeah,
good fun.
All right. Well, I'm glad Fanatical enjoyed it. FJ loved it. Everybody in Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb loves this movie, except
No.
Hey, you want an honest opinion or not? All right. So I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is right up my alley." The first opening action sequence in this show, I was blown away. I was like, "This is absolutely astounding." The first 3 episodes, I was like, "This is amazing." When you get to the 4th episode, though, the animation dips, which happens a lot.
Sometimes
that does happen with anime. Sometimes the animation dips, the quality dips. But once you're introduced to this horribly designed generic suits, we went from badass ninjas with awesome fight sequences and violence and fight choreography to this. Now, I love ninjas and I love cyborgs. And when you put cyborg ninjas together, this should be a grand slam for me. But unfortunately, every time we got this uninspired design with uninspired cyborg ninja fight scenes. Like I expected when you get in those suits, I expected those action sequences to be better than the regular hand-to-hand combat. Here's an example right here. This fight right here was very well done when he fought his best friend.
After they got the suits off,
Right. Very well done fight. But then when you get to the end finale fight, when he fights the main villain, I was like, "Oh, well, thank you for wasting my fucking time." Like it's so uninspired. The show just kept losing me. You show somebody the first 3 episodes, a clip, and you show a clip from the later part of the series. It's like 2 different shows.
I know
And I'm so tired of this. You signed a contract, son, to be a ninja, to be an assassin. You signed a contract to be an assassin. You know the rules. But no, I gotta fall in love because I'm a horny ninja. I gotta fall in love. She's so hot. And then we gotta break the rules and have a kid and leave and get hunted. And now I got my family slaughtered and now I want revenge. I'm so tired of that now. I'm so tired of it.
It's not on our roster for tonight, but just out of curiosity, did you enjoy House of Ninjas more or less than this?
I have not seen House of Ninjas yet. That's on the list.
House of Ninjas was very dull. This was at least more entertaining. But for ninjas, and I'm going to pull this in just because it's only just been released. Go back in time and go check out the Shinobi no Mono series. Never going to get better than that. Ever.
I got my copies.
Did they? I doubt they have my audio commentary on the second one because I did the audio commentary for the second
DVD,
one.
right? And
for DVD, But sometimes they switch them over onto the Blu-rays as well.
And Rick, you did Sleepy Eyes of Death as well, didn't you?
I did, or as I call it, Son of Black Mass. I don't like Sleepy Eyes of Death. But also, let me talk about Ninja.
Please do.
Of course, I'm the author. I spent 4 years writing 2 tetralogies. I researched them in Japan with people who did not take money for being ninja and also didn't teach other people how to be ninja, with actual scholars and all the rest of it. And so I tolerate ninja stuff, but I know the reality of it, just like Shinobi no Mono. And so I watch all of these shows and the movies. Like some I like because they're their own thing. What's the Ninja Kids that's anime that's super popular?
Naruto.
Naruto, yeah. So I tolerate Naruto. That's fine because it's its own thing. But but I have to agree with here. I felt it was again. It reminds me of Ocean Shores because when I worked for Ocean Shores Video, they slapped the name Ninja on everything. I mean, what was the Mystery of Chess Boxing? They titled Ninja Checkmate. So I felt the same. I felt the same way about this that I felt about those, which was again, the producers say, let's give these ninja people this crap because they'll eat anything, and so and we can do whatever we want with ninja, and they don't follow the rules. It's not as bad as it sometimes is with kung fu, but so at this point, the first couple of episodes were watchable. Right. And then it was kind of like, then it becomes, this is good enough for garbage.
Kind of. I saw it more as like it weirdly stepped into being almost more like Guyver than it did a sort of Dojo show, right?
Like a tokusatsu anime type thing.
But again, that's them sucking up. That's them, What's that?
Somebody just sneaked into the studio like a ninja.
Gee, I wonder who that is.
Oh my goodness.
Oh! It's Ricky Baker. Hey, Ricky. Can I have another magazine of Bruce Lee and Bruce Exploitation?
Frank took them all.
Oh, there we go.
He hogged all the books and leaves them in little video stores around the UK and things like that. No, look, the show, I totally agree with Preston. The show completely drops off a cliff at a certain point. It starts off great. Now, I'm sort of a little more towards Johnny. I'm a little more forgiving of it.
Yeah.
But it's like, it was like 12 or 13 episodes.
It's long.
And it's like, you could have done the same story in 8. Like, I felt like they did the backstory with the wife and the best friend, like 20 different ways.
Yeah.
Like, how many times do you have to do that? Like, and it just, I liked all the sci-fi design and the fights, but it just lost cohesion in the melodrama of, the cop and the hacker and all that shit. Like, it was just like, you could have done this in 8 and it would have been great. And by the way, Johnny's also right. It's Guyver-esque, in my opinion, also.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as good acting as he did in Jujutsu Kaisen, which was kind of weird. Like, I don't know if it was a budget thing or a time thing.
Well, I don't know. It's clear that the budget, like, it feels like, hey, we had a budget for 10 episodes, and then somebody suddenly was like, let's do 13. Yeah. And it's like, oh shit, we got to stretch this out. Because, everything, I think the show was done, obviously it was done for Max, but it was also, I think, for Japan terrestrial TV, which needs the longer episodes versus the streaming. Like, when we do our shows, it's always 6, right? Yeah. And I think that's where it all gets wonky. And I just feel like they just kept stretching it to where it was like so thin, where it was like these fights are starting to get redundant and repetitive and all that shit also. So anyway, I just wanted to chime in with that.
I was happy to stop watching it.
It took me forever. I only just binge watched it the other day because my wife was out of town. I was like, shit, I got to finish this. And I was like, oh, let me just get it done. Like in the morning, I watched like the last 4 like back to back because it was just like, I was just like, I feel like I've seen this episode over and over. They're on a rooftop fighting. Someone's dramatic. That's the end of the episode. I was like, okay, like his character never advances beyond that 4th episode. Like, everybody else gets a bit. The cop gets a bit. The woman, everybody's in disguises,
and the fighting doesn't improve. The fighting remains the same throughout.
No, it doesn't. It starts off with it's like, oh, this is really creative and interesting, and then it's clear that it's mocapped.
Yeah,
like when we did Tekken, it was all mocapped, actors or taken directly out of the video game, and it was cool. But to Rick's point, it was just like, I've seen this shit now, like for 4 episodes, and I can't believe none of you saw Fall Guy. You guys are absolutely fucking ridiculous.
I saw Fall Guy.
I bought tickets to the Fall Guy and then I canceled it.
All right.
So you can see Furiosa twice.
Oh, by the way, mentioning that, Richard Norton did the fight choreography on.
He's Furiosa. Also in the film. He plays the side of the
road. He also did the choreography.
Yeah.
So come on, FJ. You and I talk about Fall Guy.
I really Well, I'm going to say it from the fan point of view and then the producer point of view.
Okay,
Which sort of
go
goes
for it.
into some of the stuff Rick was saying earlier
Yeah.
and why people aren't going to the movies. Okay, I loved it from beginning to end. However, the fact that it cost more than Kong vs. Godzilla to make that movie is a crime.
Oh my God.
It's a $130 million movie.
Holy shit.
Wow. And if you're making that movie for anything over 90, you could make the same movie. And there's no difference.
Wow.
And I think they really, it's sort of symbolic of studios right now don't know what people want. But that to me was the closest to an airtight package in terms of like, okay, 2 movie stars, it's fun, it's funny, it's light. Popcorn. I think the 2 mistakes is the marketing's atrocious for it. And the release date, it should have been later in the summer.
Yeah. Well,
it was not a May movie.
I have some other flaws that I'd like to point out because I went to this wanting to love it and looking forward to it. And I started watching it and I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And then I'm going, here's the deal. I've known stuntmen all my life. And I was on the set of the WWF Attitude Super Bowl commercial.
I remember when you were doing that.
Yeah, and I was hanging out with the stuntman who went out the window, the top floor of the WWF headquarters in Stamford, and went all the way down. And I've never met any stuntman as amazing. And he was just so open to me. Meanwhile, I had just in another stunt in that commercial, and you can see it on YouTube. Anybody who wants to see it. When The Rock is coming down the hallway, somebody goes through the window of the conference room. And that was a friend of mine who hit his side on the bottom of the window. And I had to take him to the hospital where they found out he had broken his back.
Okay.
And so after that, and the thing was filming all day. So when I found out my friend was safe, I came back to the set. I went up to the room, inside the room where the guy was going to go out. And he starts talking to me. And he was saying, oh, by the way, don't tell anybody. I have 2 cracked ribs. Don't tell anybody because I want this job and I need this money. And I said, he said, it's all taped up. They'll never know. And sure enough, nobody ever knew. The only person who knew was me. But I learned more about, and I was impressed more and respected stuntmen more than anything. So I went to Fall Guy knowing, and also I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the Lee Majors show.
Yeah, but nobody knows the show.
Except me. Except me.
I know the show. I saw the show.
And they know,
and
a lot clear. Yeah.
and the makers of the show know
We're
the
old
show.
farts now. We know. Yeah.
And also, yeah, Jay won't handle this, so he's left. But anyway, there we go. Oh, there we go. Hey, buddy. Hey. But in any case, I knew the pedigree on this, and the people who made the movie know the show. They decided, in their wisdom, this group that made the Fall Guy knows more about stunts and stuntmen probably than anyone else in the world, and they could have made a really excellent movie that would make the audience really care. I thought the whole idea of this movie was to finally convince the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to give an Oscar for stunt work.
Right.
But there are 2 words that came to mind as I kept watching this movie. I had it written down here. I don't want to forget the 2 words.
It sucks.
No. I would never do that because it doesn't suck. It's just not. It's not nearly as successful as it should have been because it is both superficial and artificial. If they had told a real story of a real stuntman using real stunts and tried at any moment during the entire film to show what it takes, to show the bones that are cracked, to show the backs that are broken, to show, they allude to it at one point, but there's not a single character in this whole movie that's real in any way, shape, or form. And neither are the stunts. That's the other things that always bother me about stunts in movies. When there's a stunt in a movie, I want to know it's a stunt. And I can always tell when it's not, because the stuntman, when he's about to do a move from a car onto a truck, he'll fake that he slips. And I can always tell a fake slip from a stuntman. It looks fake. They're just sort of like trying to, they're expecting the audience to go, oh, he slipped. And all we do is just, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So they could have put the truth behind everything. They could have used the exact same plot, but they could have made everybody real, not these satire, what's the word I'm looking for? Vaudeville.
Caricatures. They were caricatures.
Caricatures. And not believable caricatures, not really good caricatures, not Mort Drucker. They were just, really amateur. So by the end of this movie, I was just sort of like, you guys have blown this. And then when I saw how well it did in the studio, it shows me again, because for years I would work in movie theaters and I would go to movie theaters and I would always have talks with the audience coming out. And I was always fascinated by the audience, most of the audience, the majority of the audience, not knowing why they didn't like it, but they didn't like it. And then I tried to figure that out, and I found out it was, again, style and substance, mind candy and eye candy. And if you just give them one, and especially the lesser one, the easier one to do, they're suddenly not going to tell their friends to go see it. And so I was watching this and said, they had it in their hands. All you have to do is take it seriously. It doesn't have to be serious. It can still be funny, but it has to be honestly funny, not fake funny.
So the stunts weren't even good?
The stunts were artificial and superficial. They were lighter than air. Again, we're having this an amazing series of stunts on the back of the truck that's sliding along the street. And they're fighting on this thing. And even the fights are stunningly fake. The fights, Ryan Reynolds is constantly being punched in the face by the big burly guy, and he's having no reaction to the punches. I mean, it's just kind of like, I'm another video game character.
Do you think it's because of how well people embraced his character in Barbie, that it's like a Barbie version? Because if we'd got like Ryan Gosling Drive.
No, it's the tone of their movies. Like if you look at Bullet Train, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. They do this all lightweight. It could be that they're insecure and also it could be that the studio, because as you know, FJ, you have 75%, at least back in the day when I was working, you had 75% of producers and studio executives who were there to demoralize you and to keep you off your balance. So you can kind of tell that they're, and of course, all the big stars and all the big studios are always going to take a moment to stick the knife in. Oh yeah, you're a stuntman turned director. You better do a good job. I mean, that's what this had to say.
I think there's a little more to that in terms of
I'm sure
the current state of the business, and I don't know how intentional
and the desperation.
That is. Yeah, I think there is a certain degree of like, hey, there's $130 million. You need to hit these,
Yeah, you have to do what we say, not what your heart
boxes,
says.
Et cetera. And I think that's where it gets very tricky.
But I've met the racist, sexist. I've met the Weinsteins. I met all the different Weinsteins, even the unfamous Weinsteins, the guys who purposely do it to have power over you and enjoy destroying creative people.
Sure.
But that's neither here nor there.
Well, I think in this case of this movie, though, the issues you're rubbing against, a lot of them are the things I like. That sort of light, artificial, like about the movie. However, it is a viable, and I totally agree with, explanation as to why it turned people off and didn't
why it turned soft.
Why it didn't get people into the theaters either. Like I totally buy that. I totally buy that. That's part of it, and I think it's a lot of it in this day and age where people don't know what, at least especially the studio people, don't know what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. And this summer is sort of proving it. For example, you guys are talking. I haven't seen Furiosa yet. It's at least 6 years too late to capitalize on the momentum of
Very true.
Fury Road.
Apes,
I think Apes is squeaking by. But I just think we're in a weak summer right now, and I think we're seeing the result of the strikes and things like that. But also, I'm not going to go on a whole tirade about things. I'd rather talk about. I'd rather talk shit about Frank and I doing the Island of Fire commentary last week. But
there you go.
FJ, do you recommend people see The Fall Guy or wait till?
Yeah, I loved it. Okay. I think it's going to kill on streaming. Bullet
Okay.
Train was the same thing. Bullet Train, movie star. Like I love Bullet Train.
I love
But-
Bullet Train.
but
I like Bullet Train.
Yeah.
But it killed on streaming, and I think the problem is, to go what I was sort of saying earlier, is like you're going to have to find that difference between what's going to work theatrically and what's going to work in streaming, and financially sort of figure it out, right? Meaning like, hey, if you made Fall Guy for $90 million, you're probably going to make that money back, and then it's going to kill in streaming. It's
Right.
going to do really well in streaming, but was it worth spending $130 million for? I don't know. Kong vs. Godzilla, which I couldn't give a shit about those movies at all, even though Monarch was great. The TV show was better than the movies. It's like, but now you've got the audience for that. So X amount of people are going to go, and they can make it at a cost now because they've just built all the assets.
Well, we'll be getting into that. We'll be getting into that Rubik's cube when we talk about Abigail.
Right. Really quick question for FJ.
Yeah.
Which movie had better stunts? The Fall Guy or Action USA?
If you had asked me this when Rick first met me as a boy, I would talk so much shit about American action movies. So, I was not a Chuck Norris guy. I was not, like, to me, the ninja movies, all that shit were abhorrent to me. They were insulting to what Hong Kong was putting out. So, I was more when those movies are coming out, I've got pen pals in Japan sending me VHS tapes of extended versions of Jackie movies and stuff like that, and writing diatribes to Rick's fanzine and all that shit. That if anybody's listening to this, you should force Rick to scan all those and publish them, and I bet a bunch of people would buy it and be better than Ricky Baker's book. But that that's neither here nor there.
I'll get in touch with Bill Connolly because he has all the issues. I don't have.
I beg him all the time. I'll drive down the street to go get him for. I'll do it. Just give me the fucking things. I'll go scan.
Well, yeah, there you go. Just tell him I will tell Bill to give you permission to take them and do them.
Well, because you know what I do with all mine. Mine are all in binders. I would get them and then do the 3-hole punch and put them in binders because they were the sacred texts of the time. So,
you've made an old fool kung fu Santa very happy.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I do.
But for the younglings out there who have not seen Action USA, it's really quick. It's a Lethal Weapon ripoff, but the stunts are legit.
The stunts are good. No. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But like that era, like the American stuff, I'm probably more into Highlander and shit like that than.
I love Highlander.
Is
Monarch season 2 coming? Are we getting season 2?
Yeah, they're going to do it. I'm surprised because it's a
Nice.
super expensive show and it did well, but like it wasn't like some humongous super hit. But now you've got
Apple has tons of money to spend.
the actress from Shogun is huge, so they bring her back and find a way to bring Kurt Russell back. And I always feel like if they had started the Legendary Pictures MonsterVerse with Monarch, those movies would be even more successful.
Yeah. Well, while we still have these guys, let's talk about Golden Kamuy on Netflix.
Right, I'm out for that.
Okay.
See you later.
Hey.
Bye.
Buddy, great to see you.
Frank, get my comps. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Yay, FJ. FJ, by the way, is a producer, writer, director. I don't know if he's a director.
He's not director. He's a producer of The Spirit.
Huh?
He was the producer of The
Oh,
Spirit.
the Spirit. Well, yeah, maybe we shouldn't mention that. Okay.
It's a good movie. What are you talking about?
The Spirit?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do Golden Kamuy and then get the hell out of here. Yeah, go ahead, Dragon. Tell me what you thought.
Not much. It didn't set my world on fire.
Yep.
I thought it was a bit too overly CG heavy, and I've seen versions of that same type of story, not necessarily that same exact war, but I've seen a whole bunch of films like that coming out more from South Korea that have done this so much better without the need to kind of drift into like the slightly more over theatrical CG that this relied on a bit.
Well, the thing, it's the least of the ones that they've done, but at least it stays accurate to the source material.
Which I have not seen, I should hasten to add.
Yeah. The source material, apparently, was no Jujutsu Kaisen. It's no Kingdom. It's no One Piece. So it was fun to watch, but at the same time, it was kind of like, oh, I was hoping this would be at least almost as good as Kingdom, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
So, but it was still interesting.
Anyway, do you know how it's done? Is it going to get another one? Because I'm assuming there's more to that story.
There most certainly is. So we'll see. We'll know if they do another one. We'll know it did well.
Okay.
But they'll wait. One great thing about Netflix is they don't stand on ceremony. It's
True.
kind of
And
like,
if
it doesn't do well, you're not getting another one.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Do you? What's your timing? You want to hang out?
No,
I was going to see, because I haven't seen the Roundup 4, but I have certainly seen the first 3 Roundup movies. And
Then you've seen 4. If you've seen the first 3, you've seen 4.
Okay.
So let's talk about Roundup.
Please.
So good. So
originally
good.
we were just going to be talking. So now again, Professor Y is here. Tell me why you think it's so good.
A series of diminishing returns slightly, though. The Outlaws is incredibly good. Then the Roundup, that I think for a lot of people, they think the series kind of started at what is number 2. It's sort of sidestepped a little bit more from being really quite harsh and severe. The Outlaws is kind of still pretty intense in places. The first Roundup stepped much more into comedy, and it's remained firmly rooted in there ever since. So it's become a little bit almost of a parody of itself by the time we got to 3, and I'm assuming 4. They're still good fun, but they don't have the sort of same intensity that we got in the first one. But
do I care about intensity? Not at all.
Well,
all I care about, there's one intensity that I care about, and that's Don Lee's fist.
Yes.
You certainly get to see a lot of that.
Well, go ahead, Pat. Go ahead.
My favorite line when he's beating up the guy at the end of Roundup, No Way Out, and he goes, hold on a second, don't worry, I'll get you a lawyer. He's right here. That's why I love the series, because it's literally kind of like you said, Rick, the lead actor from Bad City, the older Japanese gentleman, literally stepped out from the 80s. It seems like he took a time machine, stepped out from the 80s, and just walked in to a modern day movie. And it's just, he has that feeling, vibe. I mean, as soon as Don Lee gets out of the car, all you see is his back.
Yeah.
That's all you see is this huge back, and you hear the hard rock music. I'm like, oh my God, this is an 80s, 90s movie. Actually,
but here's the deal.
I love it. It's like a throwback done right.
Well, more than that, what is happening now is that certain actors see the writing on the wall and they take advantage of it. And that includes Liam Neeson, that includes Jared Butler, and these guys, those 2 guys, and Don Lee, always, their attitude is, we're going to do B movies, but we're going to do them that are personality driven, and specifically our personality. And also, in the case of especially Jared Butler, and also even to the degree where after The Beekeeper, Jason Statham, I'm never going to talk down to my audience. I'm going to do what I want to do the best I know how. And the audience will know how I feel by how the movie progresses. And so it's completely and utterly personality based. And the more control that Gerald has, and certainly Don has complete control. I believe his production company is called Punch Productions. And the fist is the logo. But again, as a person who, all of you know, I always get tired when I see a movie, especially like The Fall Guy and others, where they're just constantly using their fist and constantly punching, because the fist, they might as well be made out of cotton candy. They have no real effect because they're all nonsense. Women punching, men punching, kids punching. When Don Lee punches somebody, that person has been punched.
Yes.
And what I recommend you guys, just like I recommended with Louis Koo, watch Don before, during, and after the punch. The energy builds. This thing is, what's the name of Thor's hammer? That's what, that's Don Lee's fist. I can't even replicate his fist because his fist is just like pulsing with energy, and it comes from his core. and you can see it build in him, and then
Boom.
bam, or boom, or whatever.
And people fly through walls.
I highly recommend that everybody watching this go onto YouTube, type in Don Lee, type in Roundup punches, and they have compilations of every single punch of each of the movies.
That's amazing.
And I could watch that all night. Whenever I have a break between I'm seeing a movie and then a TV show is going to come on and I haven't recorded it, I'll just go back and watch another one of those. I mean, it's like, yeah, the Outlaws, the Roundup, No Way Out, and Punishment. Just watch the clips of all the punches.
And he said we're getting more. He's going to make 9 in total.
Sure.
And he may go for, I mean, somebody was saying, I forgot, somebody on I think the internet was saying that Don reminded him of somebody. I forgot who he said he reminded him of. And I said, he doesn't remind you of that. He reminds me of Bud Spencer.
Yeah.
Bud Spencer from the Italian movies, because they're both big guys who punch.
Yeah.
And they made a career of being big guys with great energy who punch.
Love Bud. Him and Terrence Hill, man. They made great fun movies.
They made Italian westerns.
Yeah.
And he really is the Korean version of Bud Spencer. And I bet he would say, if I ever got to talk to him and I would say, Bud Spencer, he'd go, yeah, I love Bud Spencer. So you guys should all check out Bud Spencer too.
Yeah, check out Watch Out, We're Mad. The original with Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill. Do not watch the horrible remake on Netflix. Anyway, what's next?
Do you gentlemen, are you able to stay for the rest of it, or do you need to go?
I think I'm pretty much about through everything that I've seen from the list as well. I haven't seen.
Yeah, but you can hang in and because you guys can. We've got the stuff.
I got a commentary to prepare, so I got.
Well, wait a minute, Frank. Just before you go, have you seen The Mob, City Cops, and Magic Cop?
No. Well, Magic Cop's an old film. Yeah, I mean, I did a comment.
And also, City Cops is an old film too, 1989, also known as Beyond the Law and Free Fighter.
Right, I haven't seen City Cop. Magic Cop I've seen. I think
Magic Cop, the Lam Ching-ying.
Yeah, the Lam Ching-ying movie. Yeah, so that's a nice little movie. You know, it's short, sweet, and the effects are great. You know, the whole last 20 minutes with the fight on with the demon cat. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's directed. It's directed by Stephen Tong Wai, who was the guy that the kid from Enter the Dragon, who don't pay attention to the finger, or you'll miss all the glories. And also Lam Ching-ying and Sao Ho did the choreography. Right. So it was a cheap movie. It was filmed, I guess, what was it, filmed in the Philippines or Thailand or something?
Oh, it was filmed in Hong Kong.
It was filmed? It looks incredibly cheap. But
it was a low-budget film. It was a low-budget film.
But it's still great. It's on Haya, as is City Cops, which is an extremely rare Lau Kar Wing movie with several titles, Beyond the Law and Free Fighter. And it has Cynthia Rothrock in it, but mostly, sadly, it's the comedy from those guys, from the guys in the back. Mm-hmm. But it's a classic second feature on a double feature that I used to see at the Music Palace in Chinatown, New York. It's not a great because it's got 15 minutes of fights, 10 minutes in the beginning, 10 minutes at the end, and the rest is really bad comedy. Mm-hmm. And it's done cheap, but it's a thrill because those fights are still so much better than virtually anything else that's being done today.
And Michiko is in both films. Both of
them.
Michiko Nishiwaki.
Yeah, she's great.
She's great. Okay, Frank, you can go. Have a wonderful. Dragon, you're going to get ready. You can prepare and have a wonderful commentary, buddy.
Thank you,
Frank.
I mean, Kaneko can stay.
Yeah, awesome.
Until next time, Frank.
Yeah, great. Yeah, move your chair straight. Oh, yeah, there you go. And where's your documentary, Frank? Pull that up too.
Oh, documentary? Oh,
come on. You bought it. You pointed out enough. Don't just advertise other people's stuff. Advertise yours. You send it. Bring it anyway. We'll continue. All right. So we did. I'll talk about The Mob. The Mob is the new movie, the big new movie of the month on Haya. The streaming service, and it is a great example of what even the incredibly cheap China movies are doing nowadays. Beautiful sets, beautiful wardrobe, beautiful photography. There we go. Yay!
Well, this is actually available in the UK only. I mean, the box set is not available in the UK yet, but you can purchase it from Severin's website. It's region free. This is region free. It's available in UK now. Individual copy available in the US in June. So, but
Very
in
good.
the
Which is, by the way, tomorrow.
What?
Yeah, true.
June is tomorrow.
It's already June here.
Yeah. There we go. All right. So, all right, back to the mob.
Good to see you, Frank. Until
yeah.
next time, brother.
All right.
Get to beasting.
They apparently, yeah, there you go. They apparently wanted to do a crime mobster versus mobster movie with the mob, but it is not done well. I mean, it's beautifully well done, but it's not involving. There's no martial arts per se, and the gun work is not even gun fu. It's not really good fu. It's just guns.
Okay.
And as such, and it has that wonderful Chinese ending where the hero wins and says, "I will not allow any drugs into this country." And it was kind of like, and I went, all right, I waited all this time for that. So I would recommend you go to a better crime film on Hayao. But the mob is there, so it's worthwhile because it's there free. All right, so we did the mob, we did City Cops, we did Magic Cop. Now we can jump onto Netflix. And we can do Atlas and Heart of the Hunter. Do you know about either of those, Dragon?
I'm aware of what Atlas is, but I haven't seen it. That's a Jennifer Lopez.
Yes.
Robot jocks.
It's yes, it's terribly great.
Okay.
I was going to ask you that. Is this good?
In other words, it's unfortunately it's a Netflix movie, so it is 2 hours long. This would have been an awesome movie at 75 minutes. It might have been even a good movie at 90 minutes. At 2 hours, it's like, oh, guys, you blew it. Because I'm telling you, the last half hour is great, but you have to wade all the way through.
Okay.
But that last half hour, I thought was, geez, you just should have put it out as a half hour. I really enjoyed the last half hour, but it's a fast forward special.
Like you said with Damsel last time, just forward to the
last half hour.
last half hour.
What's the deal? Is she the only one with the mech? Is it lots of mechs fighting? Is it?
It's the story of the development of the mechs.
Okay.
And also what's great is it's like what are the big mech movies that
Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim. You have to unite with your mech. And the relationship that she has with her mech is very effective. And the guy who does the mech voice is excellent. He's a much better actor than she is. And you only hear his voice. But the thing is, he with just his voice, he carries her along because she reacts to his voice. And it's again, great last half hour. Sad first 90 minutes. So,
copy that.
A little tragic.
Heart of the Hunter.
Heart of the Hunter I hadn't heard of, so this one I have no knowledge of at all.
Another great thing Netflix is doing is they're doing all the foreign films. So they've done a bunch of very interesting French ones, 2 really great ones, the Missing Bullet 1 and 2, and then some softer ones. They also had that Cat Burglar one with the name from the Japanese the anime
Lupin.
Lupin. Yeah, they did the Lupin. That was another French show. That was also excellent. So now finally they've gotten to Africa, which was very smart of them. And so Heart of the Hunter is their first major African action movie that they put on. And they have, again, so that it's very interesting. The African action people, the French guys have found their voices. And sometimes they're going off on tangents that I'm not happy with and getting weaker and weaker. Heart of the Hunter has not surprisingly, its heart in the right place, but the rest of it's too derivative of action movies, other international action movies they've seen. So everything's very predictable, but it's good and also the action has no African character. And that was one of my problems with Black Panther, that the choreographer in the first Black Panther movie was, no offense to him, an awesome guy, but he was white. And they really should have done African. It all should have been blended with African motifs and African background. I mean, the ape fighter in Black Panther didn't even fight like an ape. That would have been the easiest thing to do and would have instantly involved the audience. But here it's all, like 1990s television show style fighting. The plot, of course, takes place in Africa. So it's interesting. It's not great. I wanted it to be better. And I'm looking forward to what they do next. The acting was good. The leading character has a lot of heart and soul. So hopefully that will be good.
So it's a solid watch.
It's a solid watch. Okay. Yeah. The other reason I think they're having an issue is that they got the director was not, I don't believe was African, because he also worked. Oh no, Oliver Bailey was. Yeah, I'm sorry, not the director. Oliver Bailey was the choreographer, and he worked on Mission Impossible and The Mummy and Edge of Tomorrow. 3 Tom Cruise. They got him because he's worked with Tom Cruise, and it's like, no, we don't want to see Tom Cruise here. We want to see Africans here. And we want to see their character and their heart and their minds. So it's worth checking out if you got something to do for the first 90 minutes of Atlas, you can watch Heart of the Hunter, which is not too long. And now I think the only thing we have Abigail and then Doctor Who. So what do you want me to do first, Abigail or Doctor Who?
Do Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Do Doctor Who. Do Doctor Who. Well, of course, I love Doctor Who. I was an early convert. I was one of the first American writers to write about Doctor Who when it showed up on PBS in 1975. And I've met almost all the Doctor Who's and have pictures with them. And I'm hoping that the new Doctor Who is at the Comic-Con and I can get to him and have pictures done with him, because I always do a picture of comedy and tragedy. I have all the different Doctor Who's doing smiles and then doing frowns. So in any case, 2 different pictures. So hopefully we get to him. The last series was tragic. They had a producer who had no idea how to write science fiction or fantasy or apparently anything at all, even though he had done a good detective job. He didn't do a good Doctor Who. So we have a new Doctor Who. We have the original Resurrector from 2004 or whatever it was come back. And I'm still concerned, but not as concerned as I was when I first saw it, because they showed the first 2 episodes, which was very smart of them, because it reminded me of how they introduced Roger Moore as James Bond. The first 2 Roger Moore James Bond movies were weak, were very weak. They did not know how they wanted to approach the new James Bond's character, so they tried all sorts of things with Roger Moore, and it did. And The Man with the Golden Gun and
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die were, just blaxploitation and kungsploitation. But with The Spy Who Loved Me, the third Roger Moore James Bond, they found his voice. They knew everybody was pushing in the same direction, and that was the best Roger Moore James Bond. The 3rd episode of the new Doctor Who is exceptional. It's one of the best Doctor Who episodes ever made. It ranks up there with the best. Wow. And that, in the light of that, and the very, very, very cunning behind the scenes stuff that they release afterwards to give you more and more information about what they were thinking and why they were doing what they're doing, each of the episodes have taken on a greater dimension. Right after this, I'm going to watch the new episode. Last week's episode was one of the most challenging episodes they've ever done, because I spent the first time watching going, what the F is going on? And why? And that makes no sense. And why are you doing that? And I was really afraid that this whole season is going to become Lost. The show Lost, the TV series Lost, because TV series Lost had all questions and no good answers. They had great questions, no good answers. So we're waiting. They are certainly setting us up with all sorts of fascinating questions, and it develops with every single episode. So I'm wearing the shirt. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping it turns out to be what Lost should have been. Me too, Nate Doggs. In any case, so yeah, I recommend it. But again, next month, when we do the action film Autopsy for June, it'll be more important, because by then the series, the first season will have finished, and I'll be. And just look at my face. If I'm wearing the shirt upside down, you'll know what the problem is.
Rick, is this the first season that's been made kind of specifically for kind of day and dating with the American market at the same time?
Yes, this is the first one that is produced by Disney Plus.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the production values are way up.
And budget's gone way up too.
Oh yeah, beautiful. And also Shooty, the star, Gatwa, that plays the new Doctor, is exceptional. But I'll tell you, the first two episodes are especially confusing because 4 different characters look at the camera, look at the audience, and wink. 4 different characters, and they have a musical number. They have 2 musical numbers come out of nowhere. I'm going, what the F are you guys doing? Are you? And there has been a theory that they're going to reveal that everybody on the show knows they're on television. And they're setting it up really brilliantly. So if they actually do it, it could work. But if it's just fake out stuff. So it's very intriguing, very involving, very interesting, and it's very exciting. But if they don't nail the landing, I will be royally pissed. So in any case,
we will hear about it.
Oh boy, will you? Anyway, next month. But now Abigail. Have you seen it, Fat?
I wanted to see it in the theater, couldn't get to it, but it looked like it had potential to be a fun horror flick. Is it?
Yes. But it's interesting in that it is showing again how different right now horror, modern cinema horror, has so many sub-levels. I could write a book on each of the sub-levels of, this is a Dracula's daughter movie. And she is great. She played Matilda on stage and in the Netflix musical movie of Matilda.
Okay.
The leading actress, she is terrific. And they have a really good choreographer. They have a strong female choreographer who knows how to choreograph her. So again, it takes on extra mention. And when I first watched it, I sort of, this is how I watched it. This is the first half hour. This is the next half hour. This is the last half hour. I'm just going, it's really satisfying.
All right.
And everybody's great. The most interesting thing about it, and I kind of dug it, because I hate the modern horror movies that torture an innocent person and at the end the villain wins and the villain comes back from the dead. I hate those movies. This is the first one I think I've seen since I think it's Don't Look Out, Don't Look Now, or Don't Look. No, it's not Don't Look Now. It's the one where the two crooks are trapped in the house of the blind man.
Oh, Don't Breathe.
Don't Breathe. It's the first movie where there's nobody to root for.
Yeah.
But this one does it even better than Don't Breathe.
Okay.
In this one, it's kind of like they sort of create somebody who they'll let live. But I didn't care whether she lived or died. I cared about the daughter of Dracula. And I love the guy who they don't call him Dracula, but he's clearly Dracula.
Nice. Okay.
And he carries and he's great. And, because when he comes on screen, he has a different name and it's kind of like, oh, don't lie to me. You're Dracula. You're fucking Dracula. And I'm going to her, kill him, kill them, kill them, kill them, kill them, kill them.
Nice.
And she does. And she does it very well. Again, May was the episode of really great Louis Koo, Don Lee, really great actors with energy. And it's funny. Back here, you'll see this was the thank you note I got from Walt Disney Animation Studios, where I did a lecture on Kung Fu and the art of screen action. And that's what I told them. They completely blew it with the live action Mulan, and also with Raya and the Last Dragon. I was telling them to do the right thing, to have everybody fight in character, to have everybody build into it up. But now these movies are doing that. And I'm saying, yep, you found the key to the future. Let's not have all these movies be these empty action movies, empty movement, I call them, and where everybody can be punched 1,000 times and it has no point and no purpose. Mm-hmm. Or porpoise. It has no porpoise either. Yeah, let's make like Twilight of the Warriors. Let's make and like Don Lee, and that's the yin yang of the punch. Don Lee and Wall Din are the yin yang of punching.
Mhm.
Every single punch counts and means something, whether you know it or not, because you come out of the theater going, that was great. And I'm sitting behind there watching you go, I'm standing behind you going, yes, you don't know why it's great. I know why it's great, but at least you know it's great. And you also know why Fall Guy isn't as great and why Planet of the Apes isn't as great, because it doesn't have the substance. But anyway, I do go on, don't I?
That's why you're here, Rick.
That's
Rick,
why
I
I'm
would
here.
love to hear your thoughts on Late Night with the Devil. I
Mm.
would love to hear your thoughts.
I
on
started watching that,
Yeah.
but I didn't continue because I knew what was going to happen.
Oh, there we go. All right.
What happened is when I start watching something like that, I instantly go onto Wikipedia and I read the plot. Because ever since what was it, Alien Covenant, I swore that would be the last movie that pissed me off. Don't make Rick mad, because it ruins his month. I'm still not over Alien Covenant. What a hateful movie, huh?
Me neither.
Hopefully, Alien Romulus will make up for that.
No, it won't. I won't see it until I know the plot.
Okay.
But also, because again, that's going to be a horror one. And also, I was on the set of the original Alien. I don't need another knockoff of Alien. I did the official tie-in magazine of Alien. I met everybody on Alien, and so it's kind of like.
I don't think it's going to be a knockoff.
I think it's going to be. Well, I hope you're right. I think it's going to be an attempt. I think they're going to do to that what they did with Ghostbusters. The original Ghostbusters is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is so beautifully put together. That's a jigsaw puzzle. Everything fits, everything works, everything builds. These last two Ghostbuster movies were insultingly awful. And Bill Murray is there, and you can see it. There's a look on Bill Murray's face in the movie going, no, he's going, I'm here for the money. I'm only here for the money. Because what's his name? Kumail Nanjiani says something, and I instantly looked over. Kumail Nanjiani goes, "Oh my God, we're all going to die!" And I instantly looked at Bill Murray and go, "Tell him, Venkman, tell him." And what he should have said, "Yes, we're going to die. We're all going to die. We all die. But guess what? You know what ghosts are? Living proof of life after death. So what are you worried about?" But nobody says shit. They just sort of like go, "Oh, ghosts are scary. Ghosts are proof of life after death, you idiot." And the only thing we have to be afraid of is death. And guess what? It's not going to matter. We're still going to die. So
death, the key word of today's.
As my dad always said, you might as well be frightened of that tree for all the difference it's going to make. So you know what I do? My lesson was, I have one life. I'm embracing it. I love it. I found out the secret of life. Love every second, no matter what. Because you're not going to have that second again. And there's a way to do it by just opening your mind. Just go to meet your mind, internally explore. When you're lying in bed or you're just sitting there, just let your mind wander. Let your mind show you all the different things up there, all the different things inside there. And also, I told you my dad came back from the dead. He did, and showed me there was more. But what I always do to other people who worry about that sort of thing, I bring them outside and I say, at night especially, I say, look up. And even during the day, look up. And then do some research of how big the universe is and tell me there's nothing more. Go ahead, I dare you. So anyway, that's the message you guys should take. Enjoy.
There you go. Enjoy. That's right. And how do you get more enjoyment? Well, you got to subscribe to the Fanatical One, baby. That's right. Click on the link below. That's right. It's got an awesome channel.
There we go.
Awesome channel. That's right. Subscribe to the legend of the Fanatical One. Follow Frank Jang. Follow Rick. All the links are in the description box below. But before we wrap it up, we got to do Rick's picks, Rick's recap. Excuse me.
Yeah, but also, since I've given you a piece of my mind, I also want you to get a piece of me from elsewhere. But I think you're going to show that, aren't you, later?
Which one?
The video.
Get a piece of Rick?
Yeah.
Here we go.
You don't have to show. You want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me?
Oh, you want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me? You got it!
Get a piece of Rick.
We still got some amazing stuff there. Just do a lot of research.
Links are in the description box below.
Links in the description.
Check out
but now,
the store. A lot of cool stuff.
Now we have to do the thumbs. I have to again figure out which thumb
so
I'm doing. This thumb.
You can do it with us, Dragon, on the ones you've seen. All right. We do the thumbs up. This is for people who just came in late. Rick's recap. We're going to start with the mob. Rick. Okay.
Middle of the road. And unfortunately, you're blocking Dragon. You can't.
So I get to the side, I think.
Go to the other side. Go to the other side. No. Yeah, there we go. And just you can see you get your thumb in there. There you go. All right, so the mob is in the middle for me.
I'll put him up there.
There you go. Cover you up. Yeah.
All right, City Cops.
The fighting good. The rest of it, the comedy not so good.
Magic Cop.
Magic Cop is fun.
Yeah.
Almost a full thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, Doctor Who. So far.
Hoping. Well, let's put it this way: the third Boom. The episode is called Boom. Okay. That's one for the ages.
Last Doctor Who I watched was Tom Baker.
Good choice. Very good choice, sir.
In a while, I'm not in reruns.
Hey, listen, if you ever want to catch up, I've made a list of the ones you should see from all the new guys, and it's only like 1 or 2 episodes a season, so you'd be able to go through it in a heartbeat.
I was intrigued to see Capaldi. I like Capaldi.
Oh, I love Capaldi. Unfortunately, he was sabotaged in his second season by the studio, who said, "Oh, nobody wants the old man, so concentrate on the girl." But his last season, when he comes out in medieval times on top of a tank with a electric guitar and starts playing, because he worked with Craig Ferguson in a rock band when they were kids. The final Capaldi season was exceptional. But anyway, go ahead.
All right, next up. Jenny from the Block.
Last half hour, rest of it.
Okay.
Actually, the rest of it was kind of like that, but the last half hour was like.
All right. Heart of the Hunter.
Has its heart in the right place, but it's not great.
Golden Kamui.
What do you think? Middle or down? What do you
think? Middle.
Use the other hand.
Yeah, so middle is.
Dragon,
put your thumb out to the side. Yeah. No, your other hand. Other hand.
No, the other side.
Now move your hand right. Move your hand right. Keep going.
No. There you go.
Well, keep going.
No, the other way.
Put your hand all the way out. There you go. Now we can see it.
It's blocked for me.
Okay. Ninja Kamui.
I'm gonna go.
You're gonna go? I'll do almost up. The first couple of seasons. No, actually, I'm going down.
I'll do this.
Yeah, okay, that's probably the most accurate.
All right. What a wonderful day!
I don't care.
I'm gonna have to go to the middle. I haven't seen all of it. I've only
right hand, man.
Sorry, dude.
Thank you. There you go. Yeah, right hand.
Roundup series. Of course.
There's only one thing we can do with that.
True.
2 fists up.
2 fists up. That's right. There we go. Abigail.
Yeah, we're going up.
Nice.
We're going up.
Nice. The guy that falls.
He fell. He fell.
Furiosa.
Up.
All right.
Yep. 3 thumbs up.
All right. Walled in.
How many thumbs you got? Well, it's kung fu, so open hand. It's all.
You're gonna be doing like spiritual boxing type.
However you do. This is my kung fu. I have always open hands.
Okay.
So I don't.
I already know.
I'll try and do a Philippine kind of thing. If I had a sword, I'd bite it in half.
If these guys loved it, if Frank loved it, I'm sure I'm going to love it too.
Incredibly.
So, yeah. All right. That is it for today's episode of Action Film Autopsy. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Frank. Frank's got a YouTube channel. No. Subscribe to Fanatical Dragon. Follow Rick. Check out the store. Hey, if you're new here and you enjoyed yourself, go and subscribe to the Old Samurai Guy. Hit that like button. Comment.
Let me also add something quickly. If anybody has questions for me specifically, feel free to email me or email Fat, because I'd like to answer any of you guys, because we don't have a question and answer period for these shows.
That's something
I'd love to have that. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, hit me up via email. It's out there on Instagram. Questions for Rick. I'll do a reminder too in a couple of weeks before the next AFA. And they can send me stuff, and we can have a little Q&A section. That'd be great. It's a great idea. All right, guys, keep watching movies. Enjoy life. That's right.
Every second. Every second.
And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Thanks for watching. Good night.